We're back. Video number 2 in Be Your Brand and how to get better results through authentic style. This is Tavia Sharp. I'm from Styled Sharp and I am a men's style expert and image coach. And this is Devin Weafer. He's a performance coach. We're based in New York City and we are here to talk about dressing your authentic self. In our first video, and if you guys didn't go and watch that, go watch it now. But we talked
right
now. Go watch that before you watch this video. But we talk all about dressing your authentic self and why your image is a tool in helping you show up powerfully in your life and getting better results in your business, in your career, in your job, dating, relationships. So we're back with the second part of that. And thank you everyone who posted your questions. We are going to answer those today on this video. But let's get right into it.
But you're not going to get those answers until the end. So
at the end.
So don't be skipping to the end, okay?
Don't skip to the end. This is all good stuff. So just a little bit about me. I am an image coach and a men's style expert, and I spent 15 years working in the fashion industry at some brands you probably heard of, Calvin Klein and Nautica, and I spent time at Macy's designing their private label brand. And I basically take those tools and I apply them to one-on-one clients who really want to learn how to use their image as a tool to get dateable, promotable, and investable in their business and beyond. So, Devin, why don't you go? Tell us about you.
What's going on, guys? Devin Weafer from Inner Core Coaching. I help entrepreneurs and executives 2x their pay, 2x their productivity, and 2x their peace without self-sacrifice or burnout. And I do that in a number of different ways, through structure and self-empowerment. And we're a great pair because Tavia does the outer stuff with the emphasis on the inner stuff. I do the inner work with the emphasis on the outer work.
So it's all about having your inner and outer be a match. And why we created this video series is because we really want to empower men and people in general to how to use your image as a tool to really show up powerfully in your life and get better results. So it's really about showing up as your personal brand, and how does that look like?
How does that translate?
What does that translate into as far as your image and your personal style? And really, how do you even develop that? That's something we want to talk about a little bit today. Just honing in on who you are and what you stand for and your values. So let's get into it.
Which is first and foremost, really.
Yeah.
If you don't know, what you value, you don't know what motivates you, you can't come into alignment with authenticity. So that's first and foremost what you want to take responsibility for is being curious about that, understanding that, getting that as clear as day of who you are, what you stand for, because that really translates. You can put on all the great clothes that the world has to offer, but if that's not in alignment, then you're not going to show up powerfully.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, we're going to get into that a little bit more about, this kind of, there's two extremes. You can show up and let your ego really take control of who you are and, how you show up around others. Or is it, in the other end of the spectrum, are you hiding out, shying away, and maybe going inward too much, and it's causing you not to get the results that you want? So
self-awareness is a gift to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And then it can become debilitating. So
exactly.
Understand where you are on the spectrum. Is
Yeah.
your ego doing the talking, or is your insecurities doing the talking on either end? And how can we find a middle ground?
Yeah, and I don't think that, talking about your self-image in your, the way we present ourselves is superficial at all. It's actually a necessity in today's, in today's world, right? Because we all are showing up, not just in person, but online. Image translates across all categories. And it really is to be used as a tool. Nobody goes out of the house naked, but we sometimes think about getting dressed as this afterthought, but it should actually be more intentional. And
intentionality.
It's the intentionality behind it. I'm not talking about, everybody needs to go wear a suit and tie or dress to the nines or spend thousands and thousands of dollars on their wardrobe. But if you do that, then that's what you care about, then great. But if not, I think there's a way that you can find your self-expression but you actually need to do the work. You need to start somewhere and do the research, you know, and it does take time to learn this stuff. It isn't something we're taught, really, like how to match colors and what color you should be wearing and how things should fit properly. Like, this is stuff that does take time to learn. So you either go out and learn it, or, you know, you hire somebody like me, or you go to a store and you find somebody there that can help you. But start somewhere, because this is not something that should be ignored. So
yeah, you want to get curious about building that skill set and building your understanding of what pairs well together. I had no understanding of color combinations until it literally was my profession, and I had to do it for 7 years, and understanding, you know, what Pantones work well with others, and then I started to translate that into my own look and my own personal brand. So, you know, it pays to pay attention to the details and be intentional and curious about, you know, what looks good on you, and start to like build that, you know, a couple hours every week, and you know, start to learn and reach out to people that understand it so that you can get supported with it. So
it's a good segue into this question. So, you know, for you, Devin, in regards to your overall style, is it your goal to stand out or blend in? As an entrepreneur, I should say.
No, you want to stand out. Like, you want to step into your light. You want to be in your light. If you're shying away from it, or shying away from what your personal brand is, you know, people notice.
And when do you get the most compliments on how you look?
When I have the proper colors that work with my skin tone, and I have a pattern that I feel comfortable in and confident in, that works with my personality. Like, I get the most compliments on this jacket right here.
People say what?
They're like, I love that jacket, you know? And it's, you know, and this can also be a segue into talking about other men complimenting other men. But it's rare that other men compliment other men. And, you know, if you're not, do so. Because, like, you know, good style recognizes good style. And you should support other people in, you know, affirming that. Because it's important.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, if I would talk about myself, I think of when I wear a color like this or something that really stands out and compliments me, I get a lot of compliments. And I think, though, if I'm talking about men, please don't shy away from color, because you don't maybe have to wear something as bold as what I'm wearing, but you can learn what colors work best on you and what colors don't, because there is a science behind that. And trust me, guys out there, if you're not wearing color, you should be, because you will get compliments, and in a positive way. And especially if you're single and you care about that, you know, getting compliments from women, who doesn't want that? So wear some colors that catches and grabs people's attention, and I think that's a great way to, you know, incorporate something, you know, that really stands out and that's unique to you.
Yeah, a couple of colors, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
a couple colors.
Start with what's comfortable, but like every color emits a certain emotion. You know, yellow makes you feel comforted, and it's warm and inviting. I mean, we are in New York City, so we're you know, everyone likes black because, you know, like New York City is dirty, and but you know, that's utilitarian. Like stretch your boundaries a little bit and start to like incorporate, you know, brighter blues or pink or red. Like, be bold. Yeah. Because that translates.
Or purple. I think
purple's a great
you know,
color.
Every guy has black, gray, you know, the core basic colors, khaki in your wardrobe. So what complements that is that next thing: blues, purples, reds, pinks. Those things complementary. Then you can start to get into more bold colors if it works for your skin tone. But, you know, it's really about trying something outside your comfort zone, and then once you get a compliment on it, then you know it's working, because people are saying that looks good on you, you know? So
exactly.
that goes right into our next thing, is really talking about standing out versus shying away. And like you know, you said your ego is your amigo. I just think that's great.
Your ego is your amigo. You know, I mean, for the guys that are watching right now, you know, if you're wearing like a big watch and you're really trying to be loud and it's coming from an insecure place, like, you know, see if you can dumb it down, right? Like see if we can find a middle road with that. But if you're a guy out there that, you know, is scared to stand out and scared to wearing some color, like embrace it. Like, you know, try on the egoic hat. It's okay. It's okay to have ego, because, you know, we all, you know, there's self-awareness, like I said in the beginning, but there's also self-hindrance. And if you're too concerned about what's going on around you and with you, then you're just caught up. So it's okay to have some sort of ego. You know, I know you're not the type of man that's going to have an ego trip on somebody. So just, you know, develop out that color combination, and something that makes you feel confident and powerful and centered and grounded. Like, you don't have to apologize for being a powerful person ever, period.
Yeah, exactly. You know, this is time to take charge of your own self-image and how you want people to perceive you, and that's being intentional. So take control of it, and, you know, stop shying away from it. So if you guys have any questions or comments, we would love to hear from you. We're actually going to answer those on the next.
Drop them below.
Yeah, drop them below. We're going to answer them on the third video. But right now, I'm actually going to answer, and Devin and I are going to answer some questions from our first video. So I'm just going to get right into that. Okay, so the first question is, how do I discover my authentic self so that I can express it in my clothing? So I'll take that one. It's really about what it comes down to is, what do you value? You know, what do you value about yourself? And actually, that's where you need to start doing some deeper work. And I know we're talking about clothes here, but it really is your outer self-expression, you know? So if you don't know what your values are, how can you show up in a powerful way?
Matching your inner understanding.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that you really need to start there and do some work around that, and trying to figure out what it is that makes you unique. What is it that you want people to know about you? You know, how do you want people to perceive you? And once you know those things and they're clear, you can actually start to develop your own sense of style. You can look at style icons. You can, you know, celebrities, sports guys, like whoever influences you. There are so many resources now on Instagram, Pinterest. I know not a lot of guys use Pinterest, but I love Pinterest. It's such a visual tool, and you can find that. But start with, I mean, yourself, right? Your why, basically.
Yeah,
so.
and take responsibility for being curious about learning about fashion and style and developing that skill set.
Okay, second question. In a world of communication and getting your message across, when is sharing too much of your personality a bit distractive? Do you want to take that?
I think it comes from, you know, overdoing it, right? If you come from a humble place, you know, whatever you're wearing translates. It's, you know, we all can, you know, perceive someone when they're not being humble, when they're not being authentic, and coming from a place that's a little bit more egoic. So just be aware of the energy you're putting out, and when you're putting on an article of clothing, like, just question, like, am I putting this on as an expression of my natural personality and this is who I am, or is it to impress other people? Is it coming from a place of insecurity? And, you know, trying to, you know, showboat or peacock or whatever, you know, you might be like overcompensating for.
I think on the other end of that, I think what else could be super distracting is when you actually just don't care at all. Like when you don't put any thought into what you wear, you just roll out of bed, your clothes are wrinkled.
Come on, guys,
you know,
you're better than that.
I think that it's just being lazy, I'll say it. And, you know, if you're being lazy, that's what you're communicating. So people are picking up on it, and they're not going to say it to your face, but they're thinking it. And that's the nonverbal communication that you need to be really thinking about, you know, that, oh, I don't care, you know, people should just, you know, like me for who I am. But it's so much more than that. And so that's where I feel really strongly like you actually should care. And even if you want to wear something casual, make your casual look good. Like, show up on point. Why are you showing up in something that just is like sloppy?
Show up sharp.
Show up sharp. There you go. Okay, you heard it.
Yeah.
So what happens if you can't afford nice clothes, or if your idea of nice doesn't meet the expectations of those who you're speaking to?
Can I take this?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many different tierings of apparel. And, you know, we're in a modern day era where there's really some amazing brands out there that produce quality at a very affordable price point. So, you know, if you can rock it with style and you can be confident and it's not contingent on the brand that you wear, you know, you can pull it off, right? And yes, there is a threshold that, you know, certain amount of money you might get better quality, but at the end of the day, like I said, there's just so many options out there that will look good, and maybe if you're really embodying it and you're being a magnet, people might even perceive it as a higher end brand.
Yeah, totally. I always say this, like, you do not need to spend $1 million on the nicest threads. You just need to know what looks good on you.
What fits your body.
What fits your body. I'd say that's the number one thing that I help people with, is actually showing them their fit, understanding their body type. Because most guys, 9 out of 10, are wearing the wrong fit. Not the size, fit. And there's a big difference between size and fit, and so that's what I'm talking about. It's like knowing what brands are European brands, knowing what brands are American, classic fit, whatever it is, you need to know it, and that's what makes the difference. So I don't think it's about spending $1 million. It's about really investing in brands that look good on you, pieces and garments that are, you know, your sense of style. And H&M or Old Navy can look just as good.
Or Zara or Uniqlo. I mean,
Uniqlo's got great basics. And we'll get into that into the next video, and really like kind of deep diving into body types and things like that. But for now, we just really wanted to talk about being responsible for how you show up. And, you know,
that's a key word, really, in all honesty, for this video. It's just responsibility. Be curious about style. Start to learn, create a Pinterest board. If you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to like put things together, you know, find someone who does and understands it and has developed out the skill set. So yeah, responsibility. And so if that's the takeaway, just think about how responsible are you being about yourself and how you show up in the world. So on that note, we would love to hear from you again. Post your comments and questions below. We're going to answer them on the next video, and you don't want to miss that, because we're going to have some awesome special offer for you. So we want you to hear that. And then also we're going to go into this a little bit further. It's like, how can you actually take action now that we've talked about authenticity and how to be responsible for how you show up, but then actually how do you put it into work now? So we're going to go into that, into the third video, and we'd love to hear from you. So, yeah, so comment below, and stay tuned to take advantage of the offer. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Bye.